was,
Thanks, Frank.
thank you. This is awesome.
So, thank you to Mary also for really kind of putting this together. So, are you out east or?
No, yeah, I'm in Connecticut. I live, near the family now, and I spent 20 years in the Coast Guard moving around the country. So my wife's from Massachusetts, and so I ended up at the Coast Guard Academy when I finished up, and I'm still here.
Oh, wow. Okay, so so would you like to share your rosary story or how you first went into
Sure.
the
Well,
rosary?
let me just tell you a couple snippets first, and I'll get into the big story.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my folks moved out from the east. They grew up in the east. They moved out west, and they had 5 kids. And every time we got in the car and took a trip longer than an hour, we said the rosary. That was the first thing we did. As soon as we hit the highway, mom and dad would start the rosary. The kids would, chime in. So I had that tradition back then. But as these things go, there's not a lot of things. Sometimes you don't take those traditions from childhood into adulthood, right?
Right.
So about 10 years ago, I went to confession, and a old priest said, "Hey, how's your prayer life?" And I, was kind of so. And he said, "Why don't you do this? How long's your commute?" 25 minutes to work. He says, "Why don't you turn the radio off and say the rosary on the way to work? And you can get one of these little finger rosaries, so you don't have to take the hands off the wheel." And I did that. I did it routinely, not every day, but often. And I felt this meditative kind of, the worries of the world kind of went away. So I kept with that.
Yeah.
But fast forward to last September, and I was at our mission in Haiti with a couple other colleagues of mine. And Haiti's going through some really tough times. It's a lot of political turmoil.
Right.
And we had a group of bandits come onto the campus, break through the gate, come onto the campus, and start shooting the place up. And immediately, as soon as the gunfire, started, the security team swept all of the 3 of us Americans up and took us to a guest house that was right in the center of the compound, and had gates and places that guards could kind of hold up and defend the place. And the 3 of us were dispersed in different corners of the building, and told to go to our rooms and shelter in place. And so we're peeking out the windows and
Yeah.
texting each other, "Where are they now? What's going on? What do you see?"
Um,
And I'll admit I was scared to death because I didn't know what was going on.
right.
And so as people were taking pot shots at buildings and talking with people and robbing people and things like that on the compound, and we can see that. And then they got into the guest house,
Oh.
and we were in an upstairs. Our bedrooms were upstairs.
Mhm.
The guys who brought them in, they were our guys, Haitian, were able to convince them there was nothing in there and to leave. But we didn't know that. So I'm like, my scare factor, my fear
I'm
factor is
sure.
really high.
Yeah.
So I figured I'm going to ball up and make as small a target as possible. And I'm
Right.
on the ground. I'm in a
Right.
corner. I've got my knees pulled up,
Right.
and sweat's coming down because
I'm
it's like
sure.
98 degrees. And
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of to calm myself was the rosary. And obviously I'm not thinking of all the prayers, but the Our Father and the Hail Mary pop into my head, and I get into this. I'm saying decades of the rosary, and it brought me back to that, the time in the car, the time,
Right.
where I would commute and get this you said meditative state. It is very much that.
Yeah.
And it got me through that. And I always, this time of the year, after we're in the Acts of the Apostles now, and you think about the first Christians and the persecution that they went through, and could I ever lay my life down like that? And I felt at that moment, you know, as I was saying those rosary prayers, a connection with God and a connection with my faith, and that I could maybe face that moment.
Right.
Just a little bit of a corollary to that. When I got back, a couple days later, this happened 2 days in a row, by the way.
Yeah.
And we
Oh,
got back.
so they came back.
Yeah, they came back the next day with bigger guns,
Oh,
I
geez.
guess.
Oh, God.
And the idea was to intimidate us. We won't go into all that, but we got evacuated out. And when I got back, Mary, you know, of course, the sisters, there's 6 sisters in this family,
Yeah.
are found out about this a couple nights earlier, and they're texting, and Mary got a hold of me and said, "Hey, look, I'm in there. I say the rosary every day with this group."
Yeah.
And I offered the intention, and everyone was praying for you, and there were 500 people on the thing, and I was like, I don't even know who you people are. So
That's
I
right.
just I did feel your presence. I felt your prayers. I felt your support. I think this is a phenomenal ministry, and I do probably 3 to 5 times a week join you either live or recorded. That works really good for me too. And I just want to thank you and your sisters and your family, you know, through the Lent period for all that you do. It's not easy to get up every single morning and to do this. And you got a little one there, right?
Thank you, Frank. Yeah,
So thank
no,
you
you
very
have no
much.
idea. And to my sister and I, it's like purely an act of God that it's even lasted this long. I
I
mean,
hear
we've
you.
had people come on and help too, which has also been tremendously helpful. But
Absolutely.
sometimes it's a mess, and they've seen it. Like they've seen it where we're out of bed.
Well,
And we're very
I was
open prepared.
I was thinking as we were saying the rosary together today, I was going, this is a fairly subdued prayer session because, you know, I mean, usually there's kids running around, and
So yeah, that's
the
true.
one like your friend yesterday. I mean, that was wonderful to see the kids there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's so funny. But so because of the COVID-19, like now I feel like they're up later, so they sleep later. But
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, I do too. That's why I sometimes have to get the recording. Even though we're an hour later, you know, we're at 7:45 here, but anyway, I have no excuses.
so so they came back a second time,
They
and
did.
and but after that they didn't come back. Or
Well, no, because the next day we were evacuated out. So we had been in contact with the U.S. Embassy while the thing was going on. One of our people is connected there. And the first day, nothing, crickets, no answer. The next day, because we had been able to get a hold of them and some of our other colleagues, Haitian, had, they were right on it. And it actually came out, and I didn't say anything to my wife the first day because I didn't want to worry her, and we
right.
didn't know when we were getting out. So, but something came out in a paper, and so I'm like, well, I got to tell her now. So I text her, and she was with Mary and a bunch of her sisters having, a party, and she didn't have her glasses on, and she hands the text over to one
Oh,
of her sisters, and she says, read this. And it was like, we got taken hostage, blah blah blah, announced in front of the whole family. And so that kind of started this whole thing. But anyway, it was over. Nothing ever happened afterwards. It was a total intimidation thing for us folks that came down there, and a show of force, and for whatever reason but I am grateful for that. It's amazing how that just popped into my head, start saying decades of the rosary. It was
yes.
like being in the car with my parents, and that's how it was. They didn't announce we're going to say the rosary. They just started, boom, and
Yeah.
everybody joined in, and it was a wonderful gift that they gave me, I think.
How old were you when you started joining in? Because we do that and our kids ignore us.
What what do you mean? Oh, in terms of the rosary. So that was kind of hard. I
Yeah.
think when I remember the most, it was probably I was probably 10,
Yeah.
old enough. And I don't know, I went to Catholic school, so I probably got taught
Right.
this and drilled into my head by the sisters before it actually kicked in and with the family.
Right. That's so beautiful. But your story, so there's actually been quite a few um where they've been in a hostage like situation.
Wow.
I've had like a influencer friend, someone you meet on social media, but she actually, her sister and her mom were abducted from a McDonald's.
Oh,
Yeah, and thrown
wow.
in a trunk of a car, and
Wow.
just kept saying the Hail Mary over and over. And then another girl in college, there's a gentleman like broke into the room, and she hid behind the door and kept praying, 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 and he ended
Yeah.
up leaving. I think there's another one too where a girl was walking and a guy was like coming up behind.
Right.
There's been quite a few, and then somebody did mention the Immaculate. Maybe I should share that story where it was the Tutsi or
Yeah, the Toots, Africa.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were in they lived in a bathroom, like five of them for 30 days
Wow.
surviving.
Wow.
I'll share that story today. That one's really great. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah. But it's just
yeah.
it's amazing how your mind in that situation like closes down, and I could literally I couldn't think of all those prayers. I would never be able to say the Salve Regina. No way.
Right.
But those things that you said, the Our Father, Hail Mary, those things jumped right into the forefront of my mind, and it got me through it. There's no doubt.
I tell my kids too, because they do these lockdown drills now.
Right.
Cool,
Right.
right?
Yes.
That just tells you right there how things are going. I never had a lockdown drill, but I would tell my kids, I'm like, what do you do in this situation? You start praying
Right.
Hail Mary. So, but
Well, now when I was growing up, Kristen, it was the nuclear holocaust. So we got taught to dive under our desks. This was late 60s time frame. So anyway, it comes around. It comes around. It's a different thing we're worried about today, but it's the same deal.
well, this was such a gift. So
Well,
nice to
thank
meet
you.
you,
Thank
Frank.
you. It was good to interact. And again, all the folks that join in the ministry, and you guys, I pray for you and I thank you for what you're doing. I know it's a labor of love, but you're touching the lives of so many people, and I'm one of them. So thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And then I just wanted to share with them for the 33 days to consecration. I just shared the meditations. I put them up in stories before I jumped on here. So if people want to go read for day one.
Excellent.
So awesome.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a
Thank you
good day,
so much,
all.
Frank. Thank you,
Take care.
Mary.